Society is definitely sped up in its perception of visual material, primarily as a result of television commercials. Younger people are more and more able to discern and understand the visual language. And I think part of that process that I'm experimenting with in Star Wars is, and also Raiders of the Lost Ark, is that ability for people to perceive and digest information rapidly.
In the trench run, climax of Star Wars, the images and the information piled up at a dizzying pace.
Watch yourself. Increase speed full throttle.
What about that tower?
You worry about those fighters. I'll worry about the tower. R2, that stabilizer's broken loose again. See if you can't lock it down.
There's a lot going on in there thematically and idea-wise, both on the mythological level and the sort of basic human psychological level, and on dealing with certain problems that face our society and say thematic in terms of man-machine relationships.
Visual metaphors reinforce and expand the spoken word's meaning. In a movie full of marvelous machinery, George was saying the human spirit is even more miraculous.
Use the Force, Luke. Let go, Luke.
The Force is strong with this one.
Luke, trust me.
His computer's off. Luke, you switched off your targeting computer. What's wrong?
Nothing.
Star Wars' central irony. It uses high-tech movie-making to state an anti-technological theme. At the height of the action, Luke was even robbed of his friendliest machine to reinforce the point.
I've lost R2.
The Death Star has cleared the planet. The Death Star has cleared the planet.
Rebel base in range.
You may fire when ready.
Commence primary ignition.
I have you now. What?
Yahoo! Look out!
You're all clear, kid. Now let's blow this thing and go home.
Stand by. Stand by.
I've noticed as I continue to experiment to see if I can get things, how fast I can get things before they're incomprehensible, that it sort of coincides with my personal life. As I've become more and more successful and the hectic pace of my life is sped up. It seems that the films have sped up too.
Okay, and action. Go.
Jedi's fastest scene began slow and small.
What do you think? Yeah, that's it. It's real smooth.
These videotapes of the models in action were made months before principal photography began. They guided creation of the final sequence at every stage of its development.
Maybe a real, what about a real close one on that biker, like really close? Yeah. And all you see is this big thing dropping behind him, and it's Luke. Instead of trying to even play, you know, like almost as, like even closer than this, like that. Yeah. Let's do it. All right. Okay, so this will be 4, so let's use that slate. So close shot, focus at about 2 inches. That's it.
Dennis Murin and Joe Johnston aren't playing with toys. They're working with them to make moving storyboards for the speeder bike sequence.
See if we can get the real shots done this fast.
These shots, called animatics, were cut together into a full but small-scale version of the sequence as it would appear in the final film. The editors even added temporary sound effects.
Next shot is number 80.
80.
Now he won't stand up. There we go. Come on, Luke. Okay, ready? Yep. And action. Cut.
Hold on a second. That's not cooperating. Interesting to compare these in a year or so to the final shots.
Here are the final shots, which took another year to complete. That process began in a redwood forest in Northern California. These men are using a Steadicam to make background plates for the scene. The gyroscopically mounted camera will in effect smooth their passage, providing bump-free images that seem to soar. They are shooting in extreme slow motion, 2 frames per second. When their film is projected like this, it will create a streaking succession of high-speed images. Foreground objects, or actors, to be seen moving against the background are shot against a blue screen. From these shots, black and white mattes are generated. These are combined with the background to create a holdout area where the foreground image can be placed in final printing, as it is in this shot from the finished film. It's necessary to use puppets, like this one of Princess Leia, for some blue screen work, especially when it involves high-speed action that can't be photographed full scale. In shots of this kind, the object remains stationary and the camera provides the motion. These rapid pullbacks will be used in the film to create the illusion of the bike speeding away from camera, heading for infinity.
Pull next to that guy.
The editors spoke temporary dialogue for the animatic tapes, which were constantly consulted as the scene came together. As you can see, we duplicated the animatic sequence when we did this shot against the blue screen.
Get alongside that one.
Here's how all the elements we've seen in the process of creation are finally brought together in the finished film.
Well, the bike chase seems faster. I mean, it's traveling along at a great amount of speed, but at the same time, it's more realistic than, say, the trench battle in the first film. The trench battle is fairly clean. You're speeding along. It's a fairly abstract graphic that's coming at you. There are laser bolts and things going around you, but it takes place in outer space. It's in an environment that you don't understand. What makes the speeder bike chase seem faster and work better is the fact that you're in a real forest and there are trees that you could crash into. That element, it's a dramatic element. It's a plot element. It's the trench, only we've put some obstacles in there that you might hit. And once you do that, it becomes infinitely more dramatic.
In Arizona, George Lucas a stately pleasure barge decreed.